Hello and welcome to Twin Tigers Data. Today we will be talking about creating a boss. This essentially meaning we're going to take basic monsters and then upgrade them and make them even harder to kill for your players. Now these will be just basic ideas, however, we're going to be going into this very deeply. So be ready for a lot of details. Now, the base sheet. I'll be taking three basic characters, three basic monsters that you'll find inside the Monsters Manual, and upgrading them to make them harder to kill. Now, the base sheet is who exactly the monster originally is. They figure out the monster's weaknesses. Figure out your player's weaknesses along with your monster's weaknesses, and then make the monster worse in a way. Now, the three creatures we will be taking care of, I'm dealing with, are the ogre, the vampire, and the Cambion. Yeah, the Cambion monster. Now, modifications that we should start off with. Add a few hit dice. Go ahead. This just makes it a little bit tougher, however, not that much, so you're going to have to add in some extra stuff. Change equipped gear to alter the armor class, some possible hit points maybe, the damage of the weapon that they deal, or get possibly more abilities from the gear. Add abilities from other templates or other races that you might want to include. Or maybe just add some class levels. This makes it a lot more difficult, and actually we'll be using this for all three classes. All three of our bosses today. Now, for this one, we'll be changing the vampire into a vampire warlord. Now, I know this is really hard to see. However, first change the armor class that it has, so then it can get a little bit better of an AC. Give him a +3 battle axe instead of its weapon already, so then it deals 1d8 +3 +4, and then 3 additional +1 spears, so then they can deal 1d6 +1 +3. Change his polymorph ability into a bonus action instead of a regular action. Increase the number of children of the night that he can use up to 3 times per day. Add some layer actions. Increase them to 10. Charge for 2 actions. Legendary resistance 3 times per day, costing at 3 actions. Give him proficiency in deception, investigation, and athletics. Give him 10 levels of fighter and make him specialize in specifically the battle master. So then he can upgrade his allies and warriors and vampires even more now. Now, before I continue on, I'm just going to say that this is my version of a vampire warlord. Your version of a vampire warlord might have a barbarian instead for its class levels, or it could just have a whole bunch of, kind of like a hobgoblin warlord, give it abilities from that class, except with a vampire base. Now, the specific things that we're going to do to it is make it have the defense ability. So it originally has so we've upgraded it actually from its just natural armor to full plate on top of a shield. So, now it becomes a 22 AC since we gave it a defense fighting style. We give it its second wind now is a 1d10 +10 for HP. It can action surge only once. Give him the Mage Slayer and increases strength by 2 for ability score increases. Attack once more per round, and he can reroll a saving throw once. Give him proficiency in Brewmaster's tools, Know Your Enemy skill, Superiority dice are now D10. He knows 7 maneuvers, and for mine, I'm going to give him trip attack, sweeping attack, riposte, pushing attack, precision attack, goading attack, and menacing attack. Now, unfortunately, if you actually have the book, you'll actually know what these do. I'm not going into detail on this video on what exactly they do. However, I might in a later video. Now, give him a constant regular vampire paparazzi of regular vampires, only of 7. So these guys will be around him constantly, going to his every need, and will essentially be a basic vampire. Now, make the total CR 28 for just him, because he is not only a level 10 fighter, but he also has that +3 axe. On top of that, he has those 3+1 spears. And also on top of all those abilities, this guy isn't your basic average enemy. So now he's got a lot more skills, a lot more to fight with, and also he could probably kill you faster. Next, we're changing the Cambion into a demoness assassin. Now, our pretty little lady is going to have a lot more to deal with than is not going to have as much fun, but she's still going to be very interesting to play as. Now, to start off with, we're going to change her armor into studded leather. So we're going to change her AC from that scale mail into this. So now her AC, instead of being the 19, is going to be a 20. Now, why did we change it into a weaker set of armor, you ask? Well, unlike the vampire, these guys actually have a very high dexterity that with the scale mail isn't really being helped out with. So instead, we're going to put her into the studded leather armor, which will give her a very good AC now. Now, we're going to change her spear into a short sword rapier combo. Now, which means if she hits both times, she'll be able to deal a D8 plus a D6 plus 4. Give her 5 levels of rogue only, specializing in assassin. This means that she can deal, if she is hiding already, an additional 3d6 points of damage from her sneak attack. Bonus action, she is able now to hide, disengage, or dash. Give her the dual wielding feat and adding dex mod to her, so that then she's wielding both weapons and she can reduce her damage by half. So now, instead of dealing 1d8 plus 1d6 plus 4 damage, we're actually dealing 1d8 plus 4 and then 1d6 plus 4. On top of the extra 3d6 if she hides well enough. She gains proficiency in disguise and poisoner kits. She has advantage against enemies who haven't made a turn yet, and also it's instantly critical if someone doesn't see her before she strikes. Now, we are only making her a single enemy and also only giving her 5 levels in one class. So we're just going to give her a CR of 10. Now, we didn't give her any magical items, which means that she shouldn't be that much stronger than just her levels on top of her original CR. Now, by CR, I mean challenge rating. I'm sorry for not telling you earlier about this. Challenge rating is essentially how hard is it to defeat this character. That CR 28 enemy we had, well, you probably want more than just 4 level 20 characters to go up against him. You're going to want an entire entourage, or maybe an army, just for him alone. That way, everybody can try to weaken him. However, mostly it's just going to be him resisting everything. Finally, we're going to change an ogre into an ogre raging prophet of Orcus. Now, this one will be our only one using the book known as sorry about this, Xanathar's Guide to Everything, using a very specific specialization. Now, what are we going to do? We're going to increase him to a +3 set of plate mail. We're going to trade his club for a +3 Great Axe, allowing him to deal 2d12 +3 +4 points of damage. Now, the Great Club itself only does 1d8. However, because of his increased size being a large, we are increasing his Great Axe damage as well as everything else. So, that means that he will be having a 2d12 instead of the basic 1d12. Meaning also that he's also dealing on top of that 2d12 an additional 3 + 4 points of damage. And finally, the javelin, we're going to change into a spear because it can be thrown a little bit farther. Anyways, we're increasing this weapon into a +3 spear, dealing a total of 2d6 +3 +4. Now, unlike our vampire friend and also our Cambion, who only got small or mid levels, we're actually going to give him a lot of levels here. So instead of him being a CR2, we're going to increase him to a probably CR17 if we didn't give him these magical items. But anyways, give him 15 levels in Barbarian, specializing in specifically known as the Zealot. Now, he gets a +3 damage. He is able to do 5 rages per day and +3 damage. He gets advantage when he attacks. However, enemies have advantage on attacking him. So also he has advantage on saving throws against everything that he sees. He give him the Great Weapon Master, the Charger, Athlete, a +1 to Strength for everything that he has for ability score increases, because we want him to actually be able to be more of a barbarian and not more of a basic character. We want him to be deadly and prophesizing about Orcus. So on top of that, we might want to give him the Acolyte background. However, not really, you shouldn't do this. Backgrounds for monsters, I wouldn't really suggest. However, you can do it if you want. He can move at a +10, get advantage on initiatives, act normally at any time on the first round of combat. You get to add 2 more dice to your critical, so this means that his 2d12, if he criticals with it, become a 4d12 +3 +4. Yeah, this guy is becoming very powerful already. With just a regular hit, he can deal a maximum of 35 damage. If he criticals on you now, he is dealing 55 points of damage. So barbarians, be careful. Now, he also gets he can also con save to drop to 1 hit point instead of 0 hit points. And raging doesn't end if he falls to 0 hit points, or if he becomes unconscious, or if he ends it early. The first creature he hits each turn gets 1d6 + 7 points of damage, necrotic damage, because the Zealot has an ability in it that specifically, if you've watched my Barbarian video, deals half of the damage rounded down, plus an additional d6 necrotic damage. There's no need for materials in order to restore his health. Reroll a saving throw once per rage. 10 creatures within 60 feet of him gain advantage on attack rolls and saving throws. If he falls to 0, he is still conscious until he fails 3 death saving throws, or receives hit points before the end of the rage. Now, create a horde of whatever number you want. However, you still need to remember that all of these guys need to be added into their CR on top of it. Now, honestly, with a group of monsters, you're going to want to add in a specific list that they might hang out with. Now, with ogres specifically, you're going to want to go with orcs, hobgoblins, other ogres, goblins, and I don't have the list on this page, on this slide, but hill giants. Now, these 5 creatures are constantly seen with other ogres or goblins and orcs. Usually, however, these guys are seen underneath another orc who is much more powerful than them. Now, this guy alone, give him a CR of 20 because we have magical items on him. However, we don't, and despite his impressive constitution and dexterity, his unarmored defense isn't that great. So we're going to want to go with the armor to keep him better than what he is currently. Now, his armor class originally is hide armor, which gives him an 11. However, it also includes his his dexterity, so he loses 1 point of his AC, which is why we put the 17 on there. The +3 plate mail. Now, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And hey, if you want to share my awful, no good, very bad videos, go ahead. I don't care. I'm an open book. Please remember to game safe and have fun. Adios.